Yes guys, welcome back to another YouTube video, and in today's video we're basically going to be going through how to merge the Fibonacci with support and resistance zones. Okay, how to merge the two to find your optimal trade entries. Okay, these are two very key parts of my strategy, which I know you guys are trying to learn at the moment, and I'm trying to help you. So yeah, this is quite an important video, so try and watch all of it if you can. So we're going to start off with the basics and basically just nail down how to use a fib to start off with. So we're going to start with that. So if I bring my paintbrush out, fibs are basically looking for the best place to enter from a retracement. So fibs are purely used for retracement entries, okay? And obviously if we're in an uptrend like this, yeah, where do we want to be buying from on here? We want to be buying from the higher lows. Okay, and where do we want those higher lows to form? We want those higher lows to form within this equilibrium move between the 0.5 and 0.618. We want price to respect the 0.618 on the fib, whether that's selling or buying. That price has to be respected. Okay, and yeah, it's just basically the fib is used to get your best entry. Obviously, if you're buying, you want to be buying in a discount, because then you're going to get the best price to get the biggest move to your take profit or where you think price is going. Okay, so that is simply what a fib is used for. And then it's the same on a downtrend. I'll give you an example on a downtrend so you can see. So if we're on a downtrend like this, we want to be selling from within 50% and market to be respecting the 0.618 on the fib. Okay, another key thing is if you're using the fib on the 4-hour chart, let's say you have a really energetic move on the 4-hour, price needs to respect that area on the 4-hour. Okay, so whatever time frame you use to mark out your fib, that's the time frame that you need price to respect. Because obviously if you've marked the fib out on the 4-hour, price can go through and close candles on the 1-hour, but as long as on the 4-hour it's still respecting that 0.618, you've still got a valid entry. Okay, so that is simply what the fib is used for. I know many of you probably know what that is, but I just want to get the basics nailed down because I know everyone's at different levels in their trading ability. So that is simply what a fib is. So now if we look at support and resistance zones quickly, so let's say markets doing a bit of this, bit of this, bit of this. Okay, where is that support and resistance zone? I'll give you 2 seconds. The support and resistance zone, so market is respecting this zone. It keeps tapping into this zone. So when we are below, you think of it as a ceiling and a floor. Okay, so when we are below the ceiling is knocking us down when we tap into it. And when we are above the floor, we are bouncing off of the floor. Okay, so when we're underneath, we want price to use as resistance, and when we break through, we want price to use as support. Okay, so that is simply what a support and resistance zone is. So if we look at how we can merge the two together real quick before we jump straight into the charts. So we have broken structure to the upside here, you know, and we're on an uptrend. So we'd be coming into the market looking for buys, wouldn't we? So once we've got price to tap into the fib, we can also identify zones within the fib or around the fib, which can be support and resistance zones. And this just gives you that extra confidence before you go into the trade, a bit of confidence. So if we've got price tapping into this fib, that's great. You can just enter off that. But if we've also got a zone where price has previously tapped in 1, 2, 3, broken through 4 times, this is clearly a resistance zone, a support and resistance zones within the market where price is getting drawn to and reacting from that zone. So this is where we want to be looking for overlaps with the fib and the support and resistance zone. So we'll get straight into the charts now and give you some real-time examples. So jumping into some real chart examples, we can see on USD CAD, this was a forward test that I've taken this week. I didn't actually take this trade, but it was something that I marked out. And we can see price had a really energetic push down on the 4-hour time frame. So what do we want to be looking for? we want to be looking for sells, okay? So once we've marked out our fib, we want price to tap into this fib zone. Once we get that tap in, we can look to see, is there any other point of interest where support and resistance is taking place to give us that extra confidence, okay? And we can see here, it goes without saying, price has used this area multiple times. We can see when we're below, we're using it as resistance. Remember, we're using it as a ceiling. And when we break through here, we come down and use it as a floor support, okay? So then we bounce up, come down, use it as support here. I think this was news, but regardless, it's bounced from that area. And then again, we use it as support here. So we break through this area and we anticipate price to use this area as resistance. And we actually had a really nice entry here. Obviously, we're not going about entries, but you can see we wicked really highly and closed as a bearish hammer candle here. Hence why I forward tested this one. It was a really nice entry, but we did have CPI and other things, which is the reason why I didn't take this trade. But this is one example, okay? So this is a really clean example. So there's one example. This was a trade which I took. So again, 4-hour time frame, we see that price has had an energetic push down. We wait for price to tap into this fib zone that we mark out, and then we look to the left and we can see price has a support and resistance zone that is previously used. So when we're above, we're using it as support. When we're below here, we can see we tapped in and used it as resistance, and then we broke through here, come down, used it as support, used it as support. We broke through here, so we anticipate price to use this area as resistance, which it did, okay? So we got to tap into the fib, respected this 0.618, showed a really nice rejection, and hence why I sold and got a really nice trade. So that's another prime example. We'll show an example for a buy. I think I've got an example somewhere, Euro USD. Yes. So here's an example for a buy, completely same thing. So 4-hour time frame, energetic push up. We bring out the fib, wait for price to tap into this fib area, and then we look to the left and we can see price has used this area twice as resistance. Boom, resistance, boom, resistance, broke through, anticipate price to use it as support, which it did. And this would have been another winning trade as well, which I analyzed this week. So yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say. It's quite self-explanatory. Just get into the charts and practice for yourself. But this works week in, week out. If you're in the free Telegram, you would know that this is working nearly every single week for any pair, It's such a good strategy. It really is. And then all you're simply looking for is rejection candlesticks like this one. We can see that price is wicked down. It didn't quite close as a hammer. This one did, however. So there was a trade here. And then if you simply put stops below the wick and target up here, that would be a really nice trade. So yeah, you look for the fib, look for energetic moves. Ideally, you want to be looking for these energetic moves on the 4-hour or the 2-hour. Potentially you can look for them on the 1 hour, but it's rare because then you're going to need to be entering off the 30-minute time frame. But normally I look for these energetic moves on the 4-hour and the 2-hour, and then look for my candlestick structures and rejection from that area on the 1 hour, 30-minute, or even the 2-hour. So yeah, I don't think there's much more to say. It's quite self-explanatory, but just get into the charts, practice it, and yeah, I'll see you all Sunday for the chart analysis. Hopefully get another nice week. We're up nicely in the group at the moment. So yeah, see you boys in a bit. Leave a like, subscribe if you're not, because there's 260 people in the telly, but only 80 subs on here. So subscribe, boys. All right, see you in a bit.